We're talking LIV golf talk today. Probably didn't think a stream that's been heavy NFL, heavy NBA, would all of a sudden magically be talking LIV golf. But yeah, that is a thing. And I'm not really here to say I told you so, although I could be. And it was damn near a year ago today where I said on the Elon app, Saudis got the PGA in a stranglehold. And just 11 months and, 2 weeks later, here we go with LIV Golf completing the takeover, merging with the PGA Tour. Big money talk, billions were left on the table, half billions were left on the table, six-figure ad reads were left on the table, all in the name of the sanctity that is the PGA Tour. Ooh, there's some people mad they left some bags. That's why you never turn down the bag. Although all money ain't good money, you can't tell me $1 billion is not good money, or $500 million, or even six figures to do a 30-second ad. Nah. That's good money. No matter what the outcome is, good money. All right. It's not going to be all about the PGA Tour. You do see there Shady v. Nick for Skip. Yes. Shady McCoy, Nick Wright, all vying to sit across from your man's Drip Bayless. Yep. Lastly, and we got some other stuff if we get to it, but Ja Morant, I don't know who keeps coming up with his excuses. We tried to believe that mental health, we let him get off the mental health stuff. Now they have another excuse for why whatever happened in the car happened in the car. We have another excuse now. Okay. All right. Today's tea, goji berry tea. Still hot. All right, so let's go ahead and get this cracking. No need to waste no more time. Anyone who's pulling up has pulled up. If you're here, I appreciate the like button being hit. The algorithm likes that, therefore I like that. Also on the Elon app, you can go ahead and drop that like and retweet and all that type of good stuff. Oh man, but let's go ahead and get started. This not waste any more time. The PGA Tour has agreed to merge. Keyword there is merge. Do not get this twisted. This is not a buyout. PGA Tour don't got the kind of money to buy out the Saudis. This is a merger. And not just, pillow talk merger. This is a real deal corporate seizure, takeover, if you will. PGA Tour has agreed to merge with Saudi-backed rival LIV Golf. This runs down the timeline of the basic sense of agreements, but the two entities signed an agreement that would combine the PGA Tour and LIV Golf's commercial businesses and rights. So that's a key thing, the and rights here, because the PGA Tour, the golfers who bounce from the PGA Tour for hundreds of millions of dollars straight cash, homie, with the Saudi-backed LIV Golf. They bounced, and one of their biggest gripes with the PGA Tour is that the PGA Tour was taking too much of the money. Too much of it in regards to, their name and likenesses, their social media, anything that these golfers were putting up and trying to capitalize on and trying to, use their name and likeness for, PGA Tour would come collect that cut. And the PGA Tour, the players felt their cut was too much. So LIV Golf pulled up with the Saudi money. Some would say blood money, but that's not for me to decide. You can look up what they have been allegedly responsible for, and you can make your own decisions, although we could look at the PGA Tour with a side eye themselves and critique themselves over the history of their existence. Be that as it may, the name and likenesses for PGA Tour golfers, the cuts, the splits, the ratios were very, very minimal in their favor. LIV Golf pulled up, backed up the Brinks truck, and dropped big bags off. You get 100 mil, you get 200 mil, you get 150 mil. And all the top players, or the majority of the top players from the PGA Tour, bounced over to LIV Golf. They got more money, got to work less, and got to work easier to get paid. Sounds like a can't miss prospect to me, but there were those that were wanting to hold down the fort, be loyal to the PGA Tour because it's the brand. It built the game of golf into the multi-billion-dollar entity it is today. Some of those include Rory McIlroy. Another one, most importantly, is Tiger Woods. Your man's Eldrick. And allegedly, depending on who you ask, but it's been widely reported, on the low end, he turned down $700 million. On the high end, it was $1 billion. But the fact of the matter is that the Saudis pulled up on Tiger and tried to negotiate to get him, no matter what his skill set is to this day, still the largest name in all of golf and the biggest name in all of golf. And Tiger said no, because he's a loyalist. That was a year ago. Now today, and it's funny to see the reaction from PGA Tour golfers, is that they found out when we found out. Now, I would hope Tiger and Rory are big enough that someone in the PGA Tour would have gave them the heads up last night or at least early this morning. Some of the other golfers, you can understand why they might not be in the group chat. But with Jay Monahan, who runs the PGA Tour, I would hope he had the decency to put Tiger and Rory in a group chat and say, yeah, fellas, we tried, but that oil money's too strong. Because that's essentially what this came down to. LIV Golf is backed by the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, an entity controlled by the Saudi Crown Prince. And here goes the second part, has been embroiled in antitrust lawsuits with the PGA Tour in the last year. The deal announced Tuesday would end all pending litigation. So there's been a lot of paperwork, a lot of booking lawyer hours and trying to get this thing figured out, because the PGA Tour at one point banned all the golfers who left PGA Tour and went to LIV. PGA Tour banned those golfers. You can't pull up to the tournaments. You can't pull up to the majors. And then they backtracked. That was the first sign that they were weakening. They backtracked. They held a firm stance that said, no, once you out, you're out. You can't even play golf in the 4 majors. Because that's essentially what it came down to. A lot of the LIV golfers were willing to take the bag and forego the grueling schedule of the PGA Tour, or what they felt is a grueling schedule of the PGA Tour, but they still wanted to play in the majors because, in essence, let's be real. Unless you're a hardcore golf fan, most golf fans only know about the majors or only care about the majors, and the advertising and the revenue behind it suggests as such. The 4 biggest golf tournaments of the year are the 4 majors. So taking the majors away would have been a big hurt to the golfers who left the PGA Tour for LIV Golf. But then the PGA Tour backtracked and allowed LIV golfers to participate back into the PGA Tour. So basically, they got to double dip. They got to alleviate themselves of the name and likeness issue, of the monetization off of their social media content issue, less work, more money, and I get to pull up for all 4 majors or all the majors I want to show up for? Where's the loss? Where is the loss? Anyone who didn't take that bag from LIV Golf has to feel stupid right now. Tiger Woods turned down, if you want to believe on the low end, $700 million, on the high end, $1 billion. Rory McIlroy turned down $500 million. And the PGA Tour was out here talking tough, talking firm, convincing their television partners to shun LIV Golf. LIV Golf had to go down to the CW to get its broadcasting rights. And the ratings over there have been putrid. So they had to work their way around that. And allegedly they were getting funny with the numbers when it came to the ratings for LIV Golf. But now with this deal in place, none of that matters now. Because the PGA Tour has what the CW didn't. The PGA Tour don't have what the Saudis do have. The Saudis and LIV Golf have. PGA Tour has the relationships, they have the broadcasting rights, they have the partnerships. LIV Golf has the money. PGA Tour's got deals with CBS, NBC, ESPN, all the major sports broadcasting rights partners. LIV Golf has the money. PGA Tour's got the Masters, the PGA Championship, the US Open, the Open Championship. LIV Golf has the money. Sensing a theme here? Because that's all it is. That's all it is. Money talks. And there's a lot of people that are getting upset at the fact that the Saudis have come in and have bought their way into golf. And they're buying their way through world's football, aka soccer, as well. And people are big mad. And it is hilarious to me because these societies are capitalist societies. Big bank take little bank. It is now coming to people's fruition, into people's understanding, holy shit, the US and the UK might actually be little bank. Yeah, tough pill to swallow, right? Tough pill to swallow. When you thought you're the biggest dog and then another big dog comes over and eats all your food, it ain't shit you can do about it. Kind of tough, ain't it? So, PIF, which again, if you didn't catch it earlier, the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, is prepared to invest billions. And that's why they're here. Because the money never stops coming in. The PGA Tour, through their own merchandising, through their own naming rights deals and so on and so forth. I can tell you, I worked a lot of actually PGA Tour events when I was working as a tech manager for one of the big sports networks. There's a lot of money there, but there's also a lot of cracks in the armor as well. Ain't no crack in the armor in oil money. Unless you think we're all gonna be driving electric cars by next year, that oil money is gonna be coming right on through. They're ready to invest billions of new capital into the new entity. Because again, this is a merger. There are going to be people that try to make it seem like the PGA Tour is buying LIV Golf. Do not believe that. This is a merger in the truest sense of the word. Merger. LIV got the money. PGA Tour has the tradition, the name, the credibility. This is a merger. We need your money. Well, we need your credibility. All right, let's figure this out. Okay, so let's go ahead. PGA Tour convinced many of its players that taking Saudi money from LIV Golf was immoral. Again, this is from last year. Okay, so when LIV Golf pulled up and they started throwing bags around, it's competition, it's fair, just like you got the XFL and all these other fake football leagues that pop up and, they might siphon a couple of players, a couple of fringe guys, but no, LIV Golf went to the top of the top. We're throwing bags. We're throwing a B at Tiger. We want Eldrick. So to combat that, the PGA Tour talked a lot of talk about the Saudi money and the money from LIV Golf was immoral. Looking past the fact that the PGA Tour has PGA Tour stops in Saudi Arabia already. Who you fooling, PGA? So it's cool when you have made arrangements to get bread from the Saudis that you keep for yourself and then, pony off the little purses to the players. But when the players are getting the bread directly from the supplier, because again, this is very much a drug deal. This is a drug deal. The PGA Tour got the product. LIV got the bread. The players were stuck in the middle. So the PGA Tour went to the Saudis and negotiated rights to be able to have their product, which is the players, come through to their property and put on events, make bread there. But then when the Saudis got frustrated at having to deal with all the restrictions or maybe trying to cut the PGA in and how much the PGA was expecting on the back end, the Saudis smartened up Nas and said, oh, why don't we just cut the PGA Tour out and we just do our own thing and just go get these players and we can just do whatever we want with it. And that's what they did. And it takes long money to be able to do that. So again, the PGA Tour convinced many of its players that taking Saudi money from LIV Golf was immoral, but now the PGA Tour is merging with LIV, creating a new entity with Saudi's sovereign wealth fund as the only, keywords matter here, only outside investor. The players that turn down the money must be pissed. Yes, ma'am. They must be pissed. And let's get into the real shits about it, right? Let's go ahead and get into some of these numbers that we're talking about. Let's get into some of these numbers, man, because these numbers are astronomical. Because again, LIV Golf just teed off 362 days ago. Okay? 362 days ago was their first tournament, okay? That is amazing, bro. And then they try to go in here and get all the bread that they could, right? They try to get all the bread that they could. Where's the money about Tiger and them? Let's get to that. Okay. Woods. Where we at here? We here? Yeah. Woods was offered a reported $1 billion by the Saudis to break ranks, while they tried tempting McIlroy, as in Rory McIlroy, with an offer in the region of $500 million. To put that in context, McIlroy earns roughly $50 million per year from tournament winnings and endorsements. They were going to 10x your bread up front. And he said no. 10x your bread up front. And he said no. Now, he's going to keep on making that 50 when he could have had the 500 mil. And if the same thing would have happened today anyway, which is more than likely would have happened anyway, he would have collected at least 500 mil. Then he could have went back to his 50. So he would have had 550 million in the pocket, in the tuck. Now he's still rocking that 50. Now, again, I'm not here to cry about 50 mil, but I'm saying you turned down 500 when you were only making 50. And if you're Tiger, that Billy, when he's got girlfriends suing him, you don't think a cool extra B would be nice in his account? All the lawyer fee he always has to pay because of the women that he deals with? You don't think an extra B in the tuck would have been good for him? The money, the money, the money, the money. Do not play around. And I've been sitting here, you know, on the CMD podcast, and that's why I'm multi-streaming today to the CMD podcast Twitter account. Y'all know me over there. Y'all know I've been saying the Saudi money is coming. And I've asked what happens if they go to the SEC. I've asked what happens when they go to the NBA. I've asked what will happen if they go to the NFL. Now that they've been able to pull this off, they've already infiltrated into world football, soccer. They got Benzema, they got Ronaldo, and they're in the mix for Messi. They already there. And the thing is, like, they co-opted. It's not like, oh, we're going to go buy an NBA team. No. We're going to go buy the NBA. Or we'll start our own NBA and put so much money on the table that we got LeBron taking a PJ to the Middle East to hoop. That's how the Saudis get down. That's how the Saudis are giving it up. And as much as y'all think these contracts are crazy, Jalen Brunson over 100 mil, Jaylen Brown could get 290 mil over 5 years. That's insane. What happens when the Saudis pull up on LeBron and tell him, yo, we got a Billy for you? What you gonna do? You want to hoop with your son? You could hoop with Bronny right now, $1 billion. Oh, you want Bryce too? The whole team could be you and your sons. What you gonna do? And y'all think that could be astronomical? Y'all think that could be laughable? Nah, that would never. That's the same thing the PGA Tour thought. That's the same thing these world football clubs thought. Who got more bread than Real Madrid? Saudis do. That's why Benzema is up out of there. Ronaldo on the back end of his career, just cashing out, collecting checks on the back end. Messi, who was thought to be allegedly going to MLS to play down there in South Beach. They got a fancy new stadium they're trying to get off the ground there, and they want Messi to be the guy. They got Beckham in the front office. They got all of that set up, ready to go. But you know what keeps getting in the way of him signing that deal, which would include ownership of the team, by the way, a piece of ownership. Similar to what Brady was trying to do with the Raiders, Messi is trying to get that off in the MLS. But you know what's getting in the way of that? Saudi money, because the money is too crazy, okay? We could keep going. And this is the man behind it. I'm going to let y'all just sit there and just look at the bill. $720 billion investment fund. Do you understand the magnitude? The NFL has a goal of generating $27 billion in revenue 3 years from now. 3 years from now, the NFL hopes to generate $27 billion in revenue. They've got a $620 billion investment fund. Big bank take little bank. So what would the Shield do when they're hoping to get $27 billion in revenue years from now, and then the Saudis pull up with 720 of them B's, and they're saying, how much? Because whatever number, we can beat yours. Fuck around if you want to. And here's where the PGA Tour had to respond to LIV Golf in regards to the money. Like I said earlier, the players were complaining that the purses weren't as good. The name and likeness wasn't as good when it came to merch and licensing for video games and the like. Then it came to social media stuff. If a golfer had, an ad on his account that was a sponsorship deal, the PGA Tour would come knocking, allegedly, like the tax man for his cut. So if you look at the total purses and money, great graph here by Sportico. Always appreciate them. They help us out heavy during the NFL conversations we've had over here. But just in 2021 alone, total purse in dollars, that's about 425-ish million. We'll say 450. We'll be nice. 450, right? Whereas you look at LIV Golf launches last year crushed that number. That's almost 600 mil. Well, they say 567 million. Yeah, this is what it is. It's the money. They can put more money in places where you can't. And your man's, and this is where it turns down to six figures, because we talked about, 10-figure deals left on the table, allegedly, with Eldrick Woods, but that would be 11 if it's $1 billion, right? 11-figure deals, 9-figure deals if it's Rory in the 500, And now we got even six-figure deals being turned down because people wanted to believe in the sanctity of the PGA and also wanted to thumb their nose about the immorality, allegedly, of the Saudis. Your man's Colin Cowherd turned down six-figure deals to do golf reads on his show. I can tell you, as someone that's been a radio producer, television producer, these reads are no more than 30 to 60 seconds maximum. This man turned down six figures to do 30-second reads because of his alleged allegiance to the PGA Tour. How does he feel today? That face probably says it all. That's how I would look if I lost six figures for 30 seconds just because I had some fake immorality complex and wanted to look holier than thou against the Saudis. Let's keep it pushing. So, when the PGA Tour was trying to fight back against the LIV Golf and Tiger and Rory stood tall, allegedly, even though standing tall, I don't know if we're considering standing tall turning down $1 billion or turning down $500 million, but in the PGA Tour eyes, to loyalist fans of the PGA Tour, Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy stood tall. So to, confirm and to show support for them standing tall, they created a launch. They created a new golf league, the TGL, in partnership with the PGA Tour. These are all the things that were supposed to pop off with this whole Tiger and Rory night league thing. They had broadcasting rights. They had partnerships with advertisers already. As you see, this was supposed to tee off in January 2024. I tried to look up some information on this thing. The last thing I saw was as of February of this year. So what happens now? You use this to sweeten the pot for Tiger and Rory to stay. They stayed. Now you're being co-opted by the entity that they turned down anyway. Now what? Does this thing even exist anymore? And if you're the Saudis, do you even let Tiger and Rory get this off? You turned us down. I'm not letting you get this off. Crush all that. We are absolving. We're letting all this go. Y'all let me know. This is heavy, bruh. This is heavy. This is big money talk. This is really high level, big bank take little bank. And you can get into the sanctity of the Saudis and how they get the money, where they get the money, the illegalities allegedly in the ways that they, convent their money. The PGA Tour used 9/11 to act like they were holier than thou, to stay separate from LIV Golf. They positioned themselves to be the entity as opposed to just a placeholder, as opposed to just being the first. They thought they were going to be the first and the only. Then they realized someone with a bigger bank is hunting, and you are its prey, and they are on your neck. And you think, well, we got the Masters, we got Augusta. Saudi money don't give a fuck about that. They can buy tradition. And that's the thing when you're looking at something where the bank is bigger, I am looking down on you because I know I could just buy whatever you covet. Whatever you covet that you hold so near and dear, I could just go buy that. You think Augusta National doesn't have a price? As much as they have some things going on about them historically and even not so recently in the past, Augusta National can be bought. When they have the likes of Greg Norman, Phil Mickelson, all these guys, like Koepka, all the top dudes who all went over there to LIV Golf to get a bag, to play, to work smarter, not harder. They got better deals. They play less. They earn more. How do you beat that? How do you say no to that? I'm going to give you a job where you work less but earn more. And it's not like, oh, you go from $20 an hour to $23 an hour. It's no, you go from $20 an hour to $300 an hour. That's a disparity gap you got from dudes playing in the PGA Tour versus playing in LIV Golf. And you really expected dudes to say no en masse? Just because of the Masters? Just because of some green jacket? Because of some amen corner? When y'all just allowed minorities and women in there, just... Well, PGA Tour, big money talk, and you had to walk because you don't got that bag. You don't got that bag. What's going to happen to these broadcasting deals? There are some sports media companies that position themselves to be holier than thou. How's that going to work now when the Saudis are in the room? I can tell you from, working on different golf tournaments with some of these networks, the LIV conversation was happening. There was a lot of LIV golf conversations of the Saudi money is real. But they was like, they don't have, skin in the game. Okay, let's fast forward 2 years later. Let's fast forward a year later from it launching. They got more than skin in the game. They now own the game. All right. That was fun. That was good to just, send tweets, had tweets sent my way saying, Sam put us on a while ago. And shout out to the homie Shake, who put me on. I was like, oh, wait, what's this? I'm like, oh, it finally happened. Away we go. Away we go. All right. So now let's move over to your man's Shady. LaShawn McCoy could replace your man's Unk Shannon Sharp as Skip Bayless's co-host on Undisputed. And it seems as though my tab has closed on me. Let me get the other one up of Nick Wright. Just for context. Just so we have that ready. Okay, put that there. New tab. Put that there, Go back. Okay, cool. All right, so we got that here with Shady McCoy could replace Shannon Sharp as Skip Bayless as co-host on Undisputed. And we also have Nick Wright as a candidate to replace Shannon Sharp on Undisputed. So clearly, this thing is happening. It's happening rather quickly, and Skip is trying to get out in front of this and have somebody in wait for when Shannon eventually does shake the spot. Now, has Shannon said when he's shaking the spot? Is it officially just going to be after the finals, or is there like a permanent date? I don't know. I'm not really too tapped in. I don't watch that show, but just in keeping up with it and just stuff that I'm being sent via certain apps where messages disappear for legality reasons. There's just a lot of speculation of when this is going to happen, how it's going to happen, and who all are going to be there when the smoke settles. So Nick Wright is already a mainstay at the Fox Network, Fox Sports, and all that type of stuff. So he's been there. He's built his entire career off being the most biggest LeBron stan in the professional media, if you want to use that word, professional. So it kind of would make sense if you got one huge pro LeBron guy versus Skip, who has clearly made his whole career off being the anti-LeBron guy. So that would be an easy show to make. The problem is when LeBron's 39, going on 40 years old, who really gonna watch two dudes argue over old LeBron? Who all gonna be there to watch that? Shady, similar to Shannon, because Shannon Sharp, before he locked in with Skip and they got that whole thing rolling after a couple of years, even though the ratings never really hit that hard, but just the viral clips and all that more importantly pushed the show more than anything else. Shady's bounced around in this commentating thing. He's tried to do the serious commentating. Now he's into like the hot take thing. He's done podcasts, stuff like that. So he's kind of in the mold closest to Shannon when Shannon first joined Skip in regards to, he, a former player. So, everyone loves that. Former player. He could give you locker room stories. He could break stuff down, give you analysis, yada, yada, yada. Although I haven't really seen too much analysis from Shady. The only analysis I know about Shady is he's not a big fan of Eric Bieniemy, so we'll see how that works this year in Washington, but whatever. So Shady has opportunity here to come on and just hot take himself to death, because that's all he's been doing on the podcast that he's been on little guest hits that he's done, is just hot take himself to death. So you put him, younger, way younger than Shannon, a younger guy that's out here that just willing to hot take himself and trying to outtake Skip. That could be a good, I think that's a better flow than bringing in your man's Nick Wright, whose whole career is based off of, oh, I think LeBron's better than Jordan, and has rode it for an entirety of a media career. I think there's more here with Shady. I think there's a lot more there in terms of it's giving you that same vibe of Shannon. Now, Shady's going to, he might hot take himself at times where he might have to walk some stuff back. But I think just in terms of the dynamic, I think this dynamic makes more sense. And let's go ahead and keep it a buck. There is a racial element here where everything that Skip has done that has been successful has been with a person of color across from him. Whereas when if he does this with Nick Wright, that won't be the case. And I'm not saying Nick Wright is not dynamic, but to me, his only claim to fame is I think LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. So I don't know what else you're going to get from him. I mean, he's a big Kansas City Chiefs guy because I think he was on radio out there in Kansas City. Outside of that, I really don't know what else you're expecting to get. At least from a former player in Shady, you're going to get a lot of stories, a lot of locker room stuff. He has access to former players who might be able to pull up and be a guest on this show, so on and so forth. So there's a lot more there, whereas you just go get another media guy to sit across from Skip, and the main point of contention is them arguing about the merits of LeBron for 2 to 3 hours a day. I mean, in 2023, 2024, and 2025, is that what type of time y'all are on in terms of digesting content? I would hope we're better as a sports culture, but maybe we're not. Maybe we're not. But yeah, I mean, if this is who it came down to, I would go ahead and just make it be Shady, LaShawn McCoy. But I can certainly see Nick Wright's already in the building. He's already on the payroll. You can just move that bread over. You're not paying no new money per se. I can see that. Okay, let's see where we at here. All right. They're doing it with Ja again. And I'm getting a little... All right, I'll just show the tweet. I mean, let's just go ahead, man. Ja Morant's camp claims the gun in a recent IG Live was a toy. Quote, Adam Silver is still going to go through with the suspension, looking like it should be 30 games, even though the NBA knows it was a toy gun. Now, why would a hip-hop urban, I'm going to use all the buzzwords, hip-hop urban, goddamn, they got Angela Yee name up out of that real quick. Hip-hop urban site, program, entity, whatever, like the Breakfast Club, be reporting this, but not a Woj, a Shams, Mark Stein, your man Friday Smith, Chris Haynes. Like, why aren't those guys willing to jump out here? Because 30 games, y'all let me know in the chat or in the comments on the replay. I don't even think this is long. He got 8 games for flashing allegedly a real gun at a strip club. Now he allegedly is flashing a toy gun, is a repeat offender, and it gets 30 games? That's not a lot. If we're comparison shopping the 8 games to 30 games. And remember, the 8 games was really just 2 games. So if Adam Silver talked that tough last week when he was questioned at the finals and was on the dais and he said, we have unearthed more information surrounding it and was talking tough, are we really to believe the information that they unearthed in this investigation is that it was a toy gun? And let's go ahead and take it there. Does this make you feel better for Ja or worse for Ja if it really was a toy gun? Because to me, this makes me feel even worse for Ja Morant. Because we've said all the things before. You got away with multiple incidents prior of you and your peoples running down on people throughout Memphis, including allegedly jumping, snuffing a 17-year-old in your own backyard. You got away with that. You got away with the Pacers incident with your mans and them in the Jeep with the laser pointed at the Pacers officials. Got away with that. The only little pow-pow on that was that your mans got banned from the Memphis arena. The same mans you was in the car with on the IG Live where allegedly now you're saying it's a toy gun. And now you allegedly unfollowed that dude who was in the car. So you get away with all of that. The multiple incidents prior, the strip club thing pops up, 50K, gun on IG Live, right after your man Steven Adams says, hey guys, we need to be more cautious on these road trips. We need to be more stand-up individuals on these road trips. And then you go out there and you go to a Denver strip club and get turned up. And now the strippers are saying you need help. You get away with all of that because you cried mental health. You had an interview with Jalen Rose. You claimed stress and anxiety. You went down to a Florida clinic for about a week and a half, if that. Claims you learned some breathing exercises and you were all set, ready to go to come back and hoop. Everyone was in your corner. Everyone was in your corner. Only for you to do 6 to 8 weeks later the same shit you did to get popped for the 8 games prior. And now you don't have mental health to lean on anymore because we all now know, I mean, I knew in real time and said as much and got videos on this channel saying as such. But now you can't use a mental health excuse anymore because you said you're good. So now we're going to the excuse of it was a toy gun. And if it was a toy gun, you got away with all of that I just laid out and mentioned. And Lord knows how much else that wasn't ever reported. Only for you to be driving around in a car with your mans in them who's been banned from the Memphis arena for his contributions to the Pacers thing of a beam being pointed at staffers and officials in the Pacers organization. You're riding around with a toy gun? I'm supposed to believe that that's supposed to make things seem better? That you're so fascinated with guns that you got to ride around with a toy one after getting popped for flashing a real one in a strip club? If it was a toy gun, why did the mans fold down the camera so fast? Everyone else knows how to make the symbol with their hands. Everyone else knows how to do that. You did it on the bench when you came back. But in a car, riding around, when your mans has the phone out on IG Live, you pull the toy tool out, pause. I don't know how this makes anything better. Because if anything, this just makes Ja look stupider. This does not help Ja. And if they're using black press and black media to get their narrative out, and this is the narrative that they think is going to make this supposed to curry favor with the culture? Is that really where we're at now? Where this here is supposed to make me feel better about what Ja did in that car? If this is true, in the sense of they really floated this to a black media entity so that they could push this out to black people and black press, this is asinine. This is not going to work like they think it is. Again, and then this calls into question, who's in Ja Morant's camp? This man is almost 200 M's up And all the moves that we keep hearing from this camp seem to be shaky. This is not a win. Trying to get ahead of this and floating it out that it's looking like it should be 30 games, even though the NBA knows it was a toy gun. That means to tell me, and again, I'm not going off anything. I haven't had a chance to hit the group chats yet to people that would know what's really going on here. This would mean to me that when the 50 games come out, they're trying to curry favor. Like, how you going to get that boy 50 games and it's a toy gun? It should be 30. Because again, looking like it should be. Words are very important in statements like these. Words matter. Looking like it should be 30 games, even though the NBA knows it was a toy gun. This is negotiating. This is Ja Morant's camp leaking information to a black media entity to negotiate in the open press. They keep trying to play bluff with Adam Silver. And I think the man who learned under David Stern, if he hasn't already, and I think he has, but if he hasn't already, this is going to make his nuts drop even more. Because this is clearly in response to how Adam Silver talked his talk last week. This is clearly in response to that. Adam Silver talked that talk, said, we unearthed even more shit. So that when we drop this 50 piece, y'all gonna understand why we dropping this 50 piece. So they're gonna have their version of what they found, and this is their retort. Ja Morant's camp is trying to get ahead of it, planting the fact that it's a toy gun. And saying that, oh, he's still gonna get 30 games, even though it was a toy gun, and they know it's a toy gun. Bruh. Somebody in Ja Morant's camp who's not currently there. Someone needs to enter Ja Morant's camp who is not currently there and clean that shit up. This ain't how you do it. And again, let's play it in like this is real. Let's say it's a toy gun. And they still give him 50 games. Well, why should he get 20 less games just because it's a toy gun? Why? 6 to 8 weeks prior, he was powed for waving a real one in a strip club on IG Live and blamed it on stress and anxiety. Did he look like a man that was stressed and anxious in that car waving the alleged toy gun? What, he forgot the breathing exercises in the car? This is not a good look by Ja Morant's camp. This is just bad business. This is not how you control the narrative. This is not how you change the narrative. This is you leaking stuff and just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. This is not anything that I don't believe any of it. I don't think any of it is legit. And even if it was, so fucking what, to be quite honest with you. Even if it is a toy gun, so what? So what? If you think it's a toy gun, so what? What's the deal? Real gun, toy gun, you flash it on IG Live. Your man's flashed you in the camera. He does the finger guns. You then said, oh, you know what would be lit? Even though 6 to 8 weeks prior, I got popped for doing the same shit. But now I'ma really kill him because I got the toy gun. They can't bang me for this. I got the toy gun. No, stupid. We're going to bang you for that too. And we're going to bang you for more games. Bruh. Ja Morant got to get the fuck up out of here, bruh. If this is how his camp is rolling, then this whole team needs to sit down for 50 games. His whole team, everyone involved, the Usher cosplay pops, all of them got to sit down for 50 games. 50 piece, all of them. Y'all can't come to no arenas, like all of them. Nothing. You can't show up to nothing, bruh, because clearly y'all don't understand. That's the thing. The truth doesn't really mean anything here. If it was a toy gun, so what? Crazy. That Ja thing, man, it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. Some quick NBA draft news. All indications suggest the Hornets are leaning toward Brandon Miller with the number 2 pick. So clearly, Scoot Henderson's going to go 3. Now, the real question is, will the Portland Trailblazers still be at 3 on draft night? Will they trade the number 3 pick and some pieces, most likely Anthony Simons, to get help for Dame Lillard? Or will the Portland Trailblazers decide to tear it all down and build around, assumingly, Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, and whoever else they get in trading Dame Lillard? But the Hornets here taking Brandon Miller. Well, I think Brandon Miller is going to be a really good player in the league. I just think to elevate yourself in this league, you kind of need a lineup that stands out. You have to kind of think outside the box. Taking Brandon Miller at 2 over Scoot is a safe pick. I would love to see what teams would have to do defensively dealing with LaMelo and Scoot. If you're trying to form a traditional NBA lineup, then the pick is Brandon Miller. You have your wing. He could be a 3. He could play some stretch 4. He might even could play a little bit of a 2 guard in a pinch. But if you have a backcourt of Scoot, who's got a lot of Ja Morant athleticism, Russell Westbrook athleticism, Derrick Rose athleticism, mixed with facilitating like Rajon Rondo, and you pair that with LaMelo, that to me is a type of dynamic outside the box thinking that I think can make real headway into the Hornets being a better team. Because if you take Brandon Miller, then that tells me, if you're the Hornets, you think Book Knight's okay. And there's no reason for me to believe that Book Knight is okay. Have y'all seen any reason to think Book Knight's okay? So to go with a 3/4 here instead of a point/2 guard at the 2 spot, it's a tough choice for me. But I think the Hornets are doing the safe play here. They can't go wrong. It's not like Brandon Miller's going to be a bust, but I just think ultimately, like, I don't know what's going on in regards to having Brandon Miller there at 2 when you have Scoot there at 3. I don't know. It's a lot there. We'll get more into it as we get closer to the draft, but the latest is Brandon Miller allegedly being secure towards leaning going to the Charlotte Hornets with the number 2 pick. Let's go to the chat reel here real quick. X Productions, PGA Tour and LIV merge. I don't know much about golf, but that sounds like a huge deal. Like if the MLS and Champions League combined. Okay. Well, X Productions, thank you for pulling up. Yep, we got into that earlier, but let's go ahead and spin the block. I will definitely spin the block since you're pulling up. Let's go ahead and talk about it. And I'll give you the bullet points real quick. But yes, the PGA Tour has agreed to merge with the Saudi-backed rival LIV Golf. Basically, big bank take little bank. PGA Tour has the history, has the tradition, has the culture, still has some players left. But LIV Golf, backed by the Saudis, they got the money. So it's big bank, take little bank. The Saudis outlasted the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour tried to withstand LIV Golf and withstand the Saudi money. But ultimately, the players that went over from the PGA Tour to LIV Golf are working less and getting paid more. The PGA Tour has name and likeness issues similar to the NCAA. The purse money that the players get in the PGA Tour is being dwarfed in 1 year by LIV Golf. Where's that graph at? Let's see. Here it is. Boom, right here. PGA total purse in dollars is right here. LIV Golf launched this year and blew their numbers out the water. So you see, around 400 plus mil, right? But then when LIV Golf launched, the total purse money jumped up 34% just because of the threat, the existence of LIV Golf. So the PGA Tour clearly had the bread to pay their to pay their tour members more bread. They just decided not to. And the name and likeness issue has been brought up multiple times by the likes of Phil Mickelson. There's been a lot of, things about social media and their ads and their views being cultivated for money that they don't get, that only the PGA Tour gets. So again, there's a lot of issues here besides just, they offered Mickelson 200 M's, so how could he turn that down? Yes, but then there's more here from a longevity standpoint, because golfers from the PGA Tour that go to LIV saying, look, we're working less, we're playing 3 rounds instead of 4. There's more purse money, there's more guaranteed purse money. And we're working less but making more money. In comparison to, yes, you can make more money anywhere, and not all good money. Not all money is good money. But in essence, this is like making $20 an hour and now getting paid $300 an hour and you're working less. That's what it is. And we went through the numbers where Rory McIlroy was getting $50 million a year, and he turned down $500 million from the Saudis, from LIV Golf. Here we go. Rory McIlroy earns roughly $50 million per year from tournament winnings and endorsements, and he turned down $500 million. I'm getting 10x the money. And Rory said no out of loyalty. He took a stance. He stood tall. He stood firm. And the PGA folded within a year to LIV Golf. Rory could have had that 500 M's and still come back to this 50. And you want to talk about Eldrick. Woods was offered a reported $1 billion and turned it down. $1 billion up, Tiger could have been. Now, we know Tiger never has to worry about money ever again. But $1 billion is $1 billion. And he said no. And the PGA offered him and Roy that little night tennis league, night golf league that was supposed to pop off. You remember that? Where is it here? I got the tab open. Yeah, right here. Tiger and Rory had their own new golf league, the TGL. It was supposed to be at night. They're going to do new technology. They had the broadcasting partners already lined up. What the hell's going to happen to this? Now that LIV has merged and bought it, and let's keep it real. PGA Tour just got bought by LIV Golf. Yes, it's a merger, but it's not a merger truly. A merger is, okay, well, you got something we want and we got something you want. LIV is like, we're just going to keep throwing money at your players until they all leave you. So you might as well get down. Get down or lay down. That's truly what LIV Golf is doing in all sports. They're doing it in soccer. Real Madrid, we want Benzema. What's good? Oh, you don't got it? Benzema, 3 years, 600 plus million. Come on over here. Get down or lay down. If you don't got the bread, Ronaldo, you want some bread? We'll throw you $1 billion. Come on over here. Messi, I know Miami keeps offering you ownership of an MLS team, but dog, that's MLS. We're offering you straight cash, homie, right now. This is real money. Big bank, take little bank. X Productions, these numbers are mind-blowing. Yeah, they truly are. And the thing is like, I was showing people earlier, this number here is the number that says it all. And I liken it to the NFL. The NFL is the most expensive revenue-generating sport we have here in this country, right? They have a goal of $27 billion in revenue. That goal is for 2026, 2027. The Saudis have $620 billion to invest right now. You can't make this up. So this is the big bank. So as much as, PGA Tour, we have Augusta National, we got the Green Jacket, we have the Open Championship, we got the British, we got the US Open. That shit don't mean nothing when there's $620 billion to play with. They just gonna keep throwing money. They kept throwing money and got damn near all the top 25 to pull over to LIV Golf. And they got some of the OGs in Greg Norman and Phil Mickelson. So this right here was a real thing. It's truly big bank take little bank. X Productions, it sounds like a buyout. No, it definitely is. It definitely is. They're saying it's a merger. Do not fall for that. This ain't no merger. The Saudis said, we're going to keep throwing money at your guys until you fold. So either you fold or you get down. Get down or lay down. This really was state property. This really was state property. Get down or lay down. There is real money here, and it ain't going nowhere. As much as we see Teslas all over the place, ain't this many Teslas, bruh. There's still oil that's going to be needed into the very well near future. So this money ain't going nowhere. It's only going to increase. Crazy. And you see the money here. The PGA Tour try to step up with the money. They try to throw a whole new league at Tiger and Rory to try to keep them, to lock them in. And they stayed. They turned down together $1.5 billion. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It's insane. Expedition to $600 billion is literally our entire military budget. These numbers are literally next. Yeah, no, it's real. And I think here's the real question. What league is next? They've jumped in on soccer. They have their own leagues. They have their own teams, and they're getting the best players from around the world to come and play on their soil. Who says they can't do that with football? Our version of football, American football. Who says they can't do that with basketball? Some people are running around here saying the best, players in the NBA are all foreign born anyway. So what's stopping them from going and get a Giannis Antetokounmpo? What's stopping them from going to get a Joel Embiid? What's stopping them from getting, Luka Doncic? What's stopping them from getting a Nikola Jokic? What's stopping them from telling LeBron, you want to play with Bronny so bad? Okay, come over here to Saudi Arabia. You can play with Bronny and Bryce. And we'll give all of y'all $3 billion for the three of y'all. $3 billion, straight up. Bronny's getting $7 million in his NIL deal, assumingly for his 1 year at USC. What if the Saudis pull up and say, we'll take Bronny, and Bryce, $3 billion for the three of y'all. Y'all come over here and play basketball in Saudi Arabia. I mean, the NBA does dealings with China. I don't want to hear no nonsense about them not trying to do deals with Saudi Arabia. And I saw what happened when Bron got caught out there talking crazy about China. You saw what happened to him. You saw what happened with Daryl Morey when he went out there and was trying to ride against, China. Got pow-powed from across the globe. He got pow-powed via Zoom from Adam Silver. So, I mean, the big bank will always win. I don't know too many instances where the little bank wins. But there is real money being thrown around here, and these leagues are going to have to figure out, how do we combat it? You could just say no, that's cool. But you think that's going to stop the Saudis? The PGA Tour was literally in several different lawsuits with LIV Golf, and they still bent the knee. LIV Golf had horrific ratings on the CW. The PGA Tour still bent the knee. No one is really paying attention to LIV Golf. But it didn't matter. The PGA still bent the knee. Tiger Woods said no. The PGA Tour still bent the knee. Rory McIlroy said no. The PGA Tour still bent the knee. Big bank, take little bank. So that's where I'm at with it. feel free, X Productions, if you've got anything you want to add, feel free, bro, because to me, it's a real crazy, it's crazy how the money works. This money is going to keep coming in. The Saudis are trying to buy sports. The Saudis are trying to get in the game because live content means power. You think they don't see the NFL generating billions? You don't think they see that? You don't think they see the money that, the EPL is making, the Champions League is making, to a way lesser extent, the MLS is making, FIFA in general is making? You don't think they don't see that? They could buy up all those entities. If they really wanted to, they could. And now the problem is they're trying to. Expedite this is crazy. Great explanations. Thank you. No, appreciate you. Thank you for pulling up. Appreciate it. That's kind of crazy that LIV isn't getting great ratings. Do you think they're getting ratings from the USA? They're just getting ratings. Well, they have a channel on YouTube, and the numbers were mediocre for a professional sports standpoint. But the ratings on CW, let me see. Let me come off the screen for a second because there was a tweet about that. Should have pulled it. My bad. Let's see. But here's something from February, just to give you a sample. LIV Golf season debut on the CW averaged a 0.18 rating and less than 300,000 viewers. World's funniest animals in a rerun of Masters of Illusion outdrew LIV Golf. So, yeah. That kind of tells you where they're at with that, right? Like, they weren't getting good ratings. And the PGA Tour still bent the knee. And that's where it comes down to big bank take little bank. When you got billions and the other side is struggling to get to, a tenth of your billions, is there even a real discussion to be had here? And that's kind of what we're seeing here with golf. And and to me, the biggest play is college football. College football is transitioning into super conferences. It's eating up its own as we speak. All these mid-majors, all these power fives, it's really going to come down to a power two, if not a power one. What if that one is owned by the Saudis? The SEC prints money. The SEC prints money, but they ain't printing Saudi money. You telling me the SEC gonna turn down $20, $30 billion if the Saudis pull up with broadcast rights in the tuck? College football, SEC, they gonna turn that down? Nick Saban gonna say no to some Saudi money? Kirby Smart gonna say no to some Saudi money? Lane Kiffin gonna say no to some Saudi? Come on, man. Come on, man. Stop it. Stop it. Like this is what it is. When you have the biggest bank, you could just buy up everybody and tell everyone to get down and lay down. Tell everyone to shut up. Yeah, our ratings suck. Guess what? We still have money to keep out buying you. We can litigate you to death. Our lawyers can keep working because we got the bread to fund it. We're going to litigate you to death. PGA Tour was being funny with the money, withholding funds, using NCAA type, regulations when it comes to name and likenesses for grown-ass adults. The purse money was low. All that stuff magically got higher once LIV got in the picture, which tells you what? They had that money the entire time to pay the players more. So if anything, the existence of LIV Golf showed how shaky the PGA Tour has been for years. So as much as we talk about how much money these guys made, as much money these players made, this LIV golf thing has showed you there was so much more money left on the table. So much more. If the purse money could jump up this amount in 1 year, when it was a steady around 400, then boom, 567 million. Where do you think that's coming from? What's the explanation? The timeline says it right there. LIV Golf launches. They never got close to 500 mil when it came to total purse money. And then all of a sudden, they jump up over 100 million, 34%. That's because of LIV Golf. And that means they could have been paying that type of money across the board. When they were paying less than 400 million here in 2013, they could have been paying more. And this is Tiger time still, 2013, 2014. They had the money. They just didn't want to spend it. And they got blue check boys and TV hosts turning down six-figure deals to do golf reads on their show. Problematic, bro. The money was there. The money was there. Even though the ratings were never there, the money was there. This doesn't matter here when you got 620 billion in the tuck. So I appreciate those that have been pulling up. I appreciate those that have been pulling up on Twitter at the Sam D Podcast on the Elon app. I appreciate y'all over there. Oh man, this has been a fun stream. Let me see if we can find some more stuff here and go through this LIV golf thing. I see we got some more people pulling up here. It's a lot to decipher. It's a lot to decipher. And let's see. As you see here, it got so down and bad for LIV Golf that they stopped reporting TV ratings 2 events into its first season on the CW, effectively ceding its viewership battle with the PGA Tour. But guess what, though? The PGA Tour still bent the knee because the rating shit don't matter. Because a lot of these TV ratings don't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't. Like, so I think ultimately when it comes down to it, you're looking at LIV Golf putting itself out there with the powerful backing, buying up enough top tier players. Like, let's see if we get a list of LIV Golf players' money. Let's see. Do we have a list of the money? Because I would love like an itemized breakdown of who signed and who signed for how much. Let's see if we can find it. Nope, we can't find the money. All right, golf players, LIV Golf players' money. Let's see if we can find. Someone must have done it. Someone must have done it. Okay, here we go. Spoke with several PGA Tour players who were part of a meeting in Delaware that ultimately reshaped the tour schedule. Most of these players were offered LIV Golf League money, but turned it down to be loyal to the tour. Those players told me they feel betrayed and manipulated. It's going to get real, bro. It's going to get real. Those players told me they feel betrayed and manipulated. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. All right, some of this stuff can't play because of copyright, so we won't do that. Money one. Yep, we know that. All right, I could get this article. Hang on. We'll come off the screen for a sec. The Athletic makes you do hoops to get onto their website, but there's ways around it. Okay, almost there. One little hoop to jump through. Boom. Okay, you size that up with y'all here. I think this will have more money in the breakdown. Let's see, does that work? Yes, it does. Okay, cool. Okay, so the leader of the tour, Jay Monahan, he used 911. So again, so let's do some reading here. This is good reading. Deep in Jay Monahan's face, that's the guy who runs the PGA, right? Deep in Jay Monahan's face that day on CBS a year ago, he spoke with conviction. He used 9/11. He used family friends who lost loved ones. He called those ignoring Saudi Arabia's human rights record, quote, living under a rock, and asked the now infamous question to LIV defectors: have you ever had to apologize for being a member of the PGA Tour? This is strong shit. He used 9/11. And he was allowed to do this on a broadcasting partner. Okay? So he was allowed to do that. He spoke with conviction. He used 9/11. He used family friends who lost loved ones. Have you ever had to apologize for being a member of the PGA Tour? Well, guess what? There's no more PGA Tour. In less than a year, there's no more PGA Tour. The PGA Tour will cease to exist. You ran out here and you propagandized 9/11 for your own benefit to protect yourself and the entity you still worked for. Now, less than a year later, that entity is about to cease to exist. Nasty work. Oh, come on. All right. We'll get off that. I must have to update something because that's not supposed to happen. All right. But I would just love, I'm going to just Google it. I'm going to just Google a list of money paid to LIV golfers. Okay. All right. So we got Dustin Johnson here. We got a bunch of guys here. I just want the list. All right, here we go. Here's the list. All right. Okay, full LIV golf money. Dustin Johnson made 35 mil last year. Patrick Reed, 12 mil. Brooks Koepka, 8 mil. Now, again, this isn't in regards, this is just the earnings. This isn't what they got to just join. This is just what they earned just to show up and play in these tournaments. Dustin Johnson, 35 mil. Patrick Reed, 12 mil. Brooks Koepka, 8 mil. Now, if you're a hardcore golf fan, you'll recognize a lot of these names. Sergio, Hendrik Stenson, Louis Oosthuizen. I forgot how to pronounce that last name. Apologize for that. I do know the name. Just always butcher that name. Chase Koepka, Brooks's brother. Lee Westwood, OG. DeChambeau. Charles Howell III. These are guys that have won majors. Graham McDowell. These are guys that have won majors, won multiple tournaments. So obviously Phil. Like, see, Phil only earning $1 million, but the bread he got just to pull up to be a part of LIV makes him earning this $1 million worth it. And then ultimately he still got to pull up and do the PGA tournaments he wanted to. He still got to participate in majors. Yeah, that's the real list I need. I need the list of how much people were paid to join LIV Golf. Let's see if we can find that list. Okay. They have paid upwards of $800 million to leave the PGA. So we're getting more and more stuff here. LIV payouts not getting paid back. LIV Golf has paid players some $800 million to leave PGA Tour to join its team. Let's see. Cameron Smith got an estimated payout of $100 million. Brooks Koepka was paid around $100 million. Bryson DeChambeau was paid $125 million. Dustin Johnson, $125 million. Phil Mickelson, nearly $200 million. Okay, so this is the type of money. That's just to show up. That's just to join. $200 million for Phil Mickelson. $125 for Dustin Johnson. Another $125 for Bryson DeChambeau. $100 million for Brooks Koepka and Cameron Smith. Some $800 million. And each individual tournament winner receives $4 million, with the player who finished last in a 48-man event taking home $120,000. That destroys the PGA. LIV paid most of these players more money up front than they received over their entire PGA career. That's huge. Let's zoom in on that. LIV paid most of these players more money up front than they received over their entire PGA career, including Phil Mickelson, who earned around $94 million with the PGA. And we know, allegedly about Phil's gambling debts, right? So earned $94 million with the PGA and made $200 million to join LIV. The way LIV is set up, even the players ranked among the bottom are going home with at least some money, leading many players not to care what place they are ranked. There's no cuts. I'm showing up. I'm getting at least $120 out of this. Just me showing up. And it's only 3 rounds, not 4. Me showing up, I work less, and I get a guaranteed $120? Come on, man. Come on, man. It doesn't really matter if I win. It doesn't really matter. Especially if you're Phil Mickelson. We saw the number of him only made $1.8 million last year. What does it matter when he got $200 million to join? Big bank, take little bank. It's crazy. It really is crazy. It is it's a lot of big money talk, man. And I think if you're an American sports fan, you have to be leery. And I got laughed at for mentioning this last year when I said, yo, PGA Tour is in the stranglehold. But let's go ahead and pull up my own shit. Let me talk my own shit. As if I wasn't outside. Okay. Y'all see it. June 21st, 2022. Saudi money got the PGA in a stranglehold. June 21st, 2022. And now today I had to pull up, and today they tapped out. That's real. That's real, bro. Like, this is really what it is. This is really what it is, bruh. This ain't no secret. This has been coming. If you pay attention, this stuff is right here in front of you. You see the business moves happening right in front of you if you pay attention. They're not fooling nobody. They are not fooling anybody. And you see the money that's being generated, 100 mil over here, 100 mil there. Like, it's all happening. It's all happening. So I'm going to be doing definitely some segments from this stream, posting up about it. We'll do like a super cut of all the stuff we talked about here when it comes to that. We got game 3 of the NBA Finals tomorrow. So we'll be doing a lot of NBA Finals tomorrow. Ja with the toy gun. I mean, that's ridiculous. But salute to those who were able to pull up on YouTube. Salute to those who were able to pull up on the @TheSamD podcast page over there on the Elon app. And this has been Timeline T. So for myself, TheSamD, a.k.a. San May Jr., I'll be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, with another edition of Timeline T. I'll let y'all tomorrow. Peace.